So today I'm going to have a little bit of a show and tell of our bike joring rig. And for those that are not completely familiar what that is, that's being able to mountain bike with your dog, particularly if you've got something like us, a husky or a malamute or the like. So we'll start at the front here. This is an X-back harness. There's a few different harnesses you can use. The X-back for us works really well because it put this hitching point right at the tail of the dog, so that any lead dropped down away from their hind legs and they didn't get tangled in it. Front legs come down through here, stomach, back legs here. So you can see that this sits really nice and streamlined along the body of the dog. And ordinarily I have a bit more of a lead that runs in here, so I've just done this, strung this up quite short just to show you the main rig. And this was just stuff that we banged together out of scrap. So it really didn't cost much and didn't take much time to put together either. Went through a couple of evolutions, and I'll describe that as I show you how this is attached. So what you see here is a bunch of old spent tyres. We went and got some extras because we built a second rig as well for the other bike, and we just went down to the local bike store and asked them what was in their bin. They were happy to just hand over a few. We had one or two here. This is a length of I think it's about 40mm diameter pipe from the hardware store. It's at about 800-900 long or something like that. A couple of bolts, and the most expensive part, this ring here, which come in a 2-pack. It was about $5 or $6 for the 2-pack. So that's your main expense right there. Unless you want the nice clip. But so anyway, what I've done, you can see I've drilled a pair of holes carefully so you don't shatter the tube. You can actually in some places buy these tubes for certain plumbing uses already cut to a set length. We've fed one of the inner tubes down through here and then put the bolt through it. So it's locked in there. And originally we had just that. We tried just that to begin with, and because there was that little bit of slack, you can see the slack's at this end at the moment, we were able to thread that up over the handlebar and then pull it taut so that this end come back up hard against here. Worked alright, dropped down, hit the tyre a bit, so we added one up here on this bike because of these were off a smaller diameter bike. I ended up just using the two of them, and it actually holds it up out of the wheel quite nicely. You can see a few marks there where at times it's dropped down. So that was the original part of the rig there. This one here was added later. You can see this rig allows for get around and try to do this one-handed. Allows for the dog to be able to veer off to the side a certain amount without pulling you off sideways off the bike. There we go, almost falling off myself. Right, and with the way it used to attach, because it would loop around all of that, it would strangle the cables and pull them a bit and pull the brakes on. So instead of tying it around here, we added this one. This just loops over loops over the seat, so it only takes a few seconds to attach to a bike. You can take it off easy. So all in all, 3 to 4 inner tubes, depending on your tube. And this way it doesn't strangle all of these, it just slips in between them. It's a nice little rig, and because this acts as a certain amount of a shock absorber as the dog yanks on this, as it veers down the track, the whole thing acts as a big shock absorber and taking out some of the some of the force of them jarring along. So it's nicer on them and it's nicer on you. You don't come off the bike so easy. You're not having to hold the lead. And when you're dealing with something like a husky or a Malamute, they're so powerful as a dog that you don't want to be doing that. You want to have good control. You want to have both your hands on those brakes. Because even with that, our little girl, who's under 2, if we come off, stack the bike, she can drag the bike and the adult rider at near running pace across a field. So they're a powerful dog, they're a fast dog, and you want good control. But this was fast, cheap, fits any bike. It's really quite simple. One of the things I do recommend is get these swiveling buckles. It means when you're running with your lead, it's not going to tangle up. And we did have one incident at one point where the dog got distracted, tried to veer off to the side to visit another dog, and tripped over and tumbled. It didn't tangle up, it didn't get itself hurt, so it was able to just jump up and take off again. So these are an absolute godsend. They're worth a few dollars to buy one of these, and end up using a few of these in a few spots on some of the different leads that we put in the middle here, so that it doesn't tangle up at any point. They're fantastic. And surprisingly enough, the actual harnesses are not that expensive. So as a hobby to kick off to start with, it's actually not too bad. The dogs themselves are really expensive, but yeah, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money to have a good time and have get out there and have some exercise. So have fun, stay safe, and be very sure that a husky or a Malamute is something that you actually want before you get one. They are definitely not for everyone. They need this sort of a thing daily. We go for a good 3, 5, 10k run regularly, and they absolutely have to have it, so rain or shine. Got to have attention and company all the time. They're a fair bit of work as a dog. Don't get on well with other dogs and pets, so be sure they're exactly what you want before you commit to it. It's also not that easy to rehome, so but if you're the sort to give them that sort of love, then they're a fantastic animal. They love to work. This just bounces along. Alright, that'll do. Thanks guys, choice.